Just dive straight into the latest horror news. This comes just 28 minutes ago on bloodydisgusting.com from John Squires. There are 5 horror movies releasing this week. Will I be able to watch them so I can review them? Who knows? Now, it's got a tinge of horror, but legend of the horror world, Sam Raimi, director, is returning to both Marvel and the horror genre with the sequel Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, the first Doctor Strange film was one of the Marvel films that kind of went over my head a bit. It's not a character that I'm really that invested in personally. I thought the film was fine, but I really don't remember a lot about it. That being said, I'm quite intrigued to see how the greater Marvel cinematic universe handles horror. And obviously, Sam Raimi has worked on the Spider-Man trilogy, made his name, initially in the horror world. And there are hints of it. I think in the trailer, there's like a zombified Doctor Strange or a multiverse version of zombies. Don't know a lot about it. I know that there's the whole what ifs, which I haven't seen any of. So who knows? I'm intrigued. I will watch it. Will it be a cinema job? It's going to depend on the hype. But here we go. The new horror arriving this week. So survival thriller Breathe has been released on VOD outlets today from director John Reel. This is courtesy of Uncorked Entertainment. In the film, Lara Winslet is an expert geologist in volcanology. She is together with her team of work on sorry, that's bad grammar. Work on a volcano to conduct surveys. At the end of the working day, Lara decides to stay a little longer to finish an exam, and she remains so alone. I don't think this little blurb. I'm not saying this is John Squire's wording, but I don't know if it's a copy and paste job. It doesn't seem to be worded brilliantly. Returning, we'll get back to it. Returning, she has an accident, falling inside a hole in the ground, and remains blocked inside there where no one can see nor hear her. This experience will lead her to take an examination of her whole life and to think of her daughter. Okay, moving on. I'll drop the link in the chat. Oh, let's see if this works actually. Hey, oh, look, we got chat on screen. I'm slowly learning things, people. I'm slowly learning things. Next up, it's pretty quiet for the rest of the week until Friday, which marks the Shudder premiere of brand new original horror movie, The Twin. Shudder's latest stars Lights Out actress Teresa Palmer, which always makes me think of Twin Peaks. The Twin is the new horror movie from Lake Bodom director Taneli Mustonen. Now, Lake Bodom that's pretty cool. Following the aftermath of a tragic accident that claimed the life of one of their twins, Rachel, played by Teresa Palmer, from Warm Bodies and A Discovery of Witches, and husband Anthony, Stephen Cree, also from A Discovery of Witches and Outlander, I haven't seen any of those things, relocate to the other side of the world with their surviving son in the hopes of building a new life. What begins as a time of healing in the quiet Scandinavian countryside soon takes an ominous turn when Rachel begins to unravel the torturous truth about her son and confronts the malicious forces attempting to take a hold of him. That seems more interesting to me than that Breathe film. Again, I haven't seen any of these trailers yet. Shudder, I've been kind of critical of some of their new films of late. The one that I watched a couple of weeks back, the Alicia Cuthbert, I thought was actually really good, so that was a good step in the right direction. I will check out these trailers. This is my crap preparation. Next up, Peter Fasinelli stars alongside Eric Dane and Terry Polo in the psychological thriller The Ravine, which BD's parent company, Cinedigm, is bringing to theatres and VOD this Friday. In the film, a sleepy suburb of New Orleans seems like the idyllic place to raise a family until an unspeakable crime rocks the community to its core. Oh, God. With more questions than answers, Oh, wait a minute, where's this moved to? With more questions than answers, family and friends are left to wonder if they overlooked the murderer among them or if there might be more to the story. Oh, I do like a good mystery. I do like a good thriller, a good mystery thriller, a thriller that's mysterious. So that is, it's written by Keone Waxman, wrote and directed The Ravine, based on Robert Pascuzzi's novel. Now, I believe Robert Pascuzzi, I may be getting mixed up. Is he not the writer behind True Detective? I think I have got that mixed up. The name just seems similar. Leslie Uggams from Deadpool, Byron Mann of Skyscraper, and Lucy Faust of the Underground Railroad co-star. The Ravine is inspired by true events. The horror was real, yet so is the overwhelming sense of human understanding that it brought to us. I mean, if it's based on something that's happened, that always adds, that always adds something to it. Now, here's another film we mentioned on the news a couple of weeks back. I've seen the trailer for it now. Intrigued. I wouldn't say hyped, but I would say intrigued, and that is Escape the Field. Lionsgate is back with Escape the Field, a new horror film from Emerson Moore that will open in select theatres and on VOD platforms this Friday, May the 6th. In the film, the fear is inescapable and suspense non-stop in this gripping horror thriller about 6 strangers who suddenly awaken in a remote, endless cornfield. Stripped of their possessions, they are left with only 6 items: a gun with a single bullet, matches, a lantern, a knife, a compass, and a flask of water. As mysterious sirens blare in the distance and traps appear at every turn, the group realizes it's been plunged into a cat-and-mouse game with an unseen evil, and survival depends upon solving a diabolical and deadly puzzle. Now, yeah, the trailer looks like it could be good, it could be kind of shoddy, who knows. I always find with these mystery things, the intrigue sometimes can be quite difficult to satisfyingly come to a resolution. There was a TV series a couple of years ago called Wayward Pines, and the premise of it was quite interesting. And even when they started revealing things and revealing what was going on, for me, I still found it quite interesting. But then it seemed to kind of shit the bed. I know it was based on a series of books. I haven't read those, but kind of similar with Lost. The premise, the setup was very interesting, had people hooked. They maybe dragged it out too long. This was the era of network TV where each season was like 20 odd episodes and about 10 of them are filler. But again, I wouldn't necessarily say it stuck the landing. Whether that ending was in place to begin with or not, who knows? And that then brings us to this Friday's release, which I know Lawrence is very much looking forward to. Him and Meryl are going to watch it this weekend, or the end of this week. That is the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is horror master Sam Raimi's first movie in nearly 10 years. What was his last one then? Because Drag Me That to Hell, is that 10 years old? I thought that might have been older. But here we go. Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The MCU unlocks the multiverse and pushes its boundaries further than ever before. Journey into the unknown with Doctor Strange, who, with the help of mystical allies, both old and new, traverses the mind-bending and dangerous alternate realities of the multiverse to confront a mysterious new adversary. So I have seen the trailer. I won't talk about the trailer, no spoilers or anything. But the trailer was interesting. I don't know anything about who the adversary is going to be. That it does hint at a familiar face maybe becoming an adversary. I'll again keep it very vague, but I really don't know much about it. Who knows? I may get someone to watch my dog and make the hour or so journey to the cinema. I moved out here because it's really cheap, but there's nothing around here other than supermarkets. Yeah, Voodoo Vegas. So pumped for Doctor Strange. Whoop. I'm looking forward, Lawrence, to your spoiler. I know you're going to do a spoiler review and a spoiler-free review. I'll definitely check out the spoiler-free review, just to kind of see what is going on. I'm very easily influenced by the hype train of things. So, but anyway, that's the new films coming out this week. Next up on the news, for fans of the Conjuring universe, The Nun 2 plot details have been teased in an official casting call. The next installment of the Conjuring universe is set to be The Nun 2. We're bloody disgusting, letting you know last week that Michael Chavez, who worked on The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which are both films that I kind of had lower expectations on just because I didn't really know about The Curse of La Llorona, and The Devil Made Me Do It didn't have James Wan directing, but both were pretty enjoyable, pretty good horrors. He will be taken over as director, confirmed by producer James Wan. Shortly thereafter, Bonnie Aarons will be back again playing the demon known as Valak. Well, today, the film's official Twitter account has tweeted out a link to a casting call for The Nun 2, which includes a brief plot synopsis for the upcoming sequel. So if you don't want to know anything about The Nun 2, put your fingers in your ears or turn the volume down for 10 seconds. So the plot synopsis is 1956, France. A priest is murdered, and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit The Nun follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with the demonic force Valak, the demon nun. Okay, so yeah, Sister Irene was played by Thaisa Farmiga, who's the sister of Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine. And Thaisa has been in loads of stuff. Final Girls, the first season of American Horror Story, when American Horror Story kind of had a bit of direction. Last bit of news we have now, talking about random multiplayer games based on horror IPs. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre actor who played the Hitchhiker, Ed Neal, is voicing the Hitchhiker in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. Gun Interactive, who made Friday the 13th, are hard at work on their upcoming Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, and they've made a pretty cool announcement today. Ed Neal, who played the Hitchhiker in Tobe Hooper's original horror classic, will be reprising the role in the upcoming game. Neal will be voicing the Hitchhiker, a playable killer. You can listen to a preview snippet of Neal's Hitchhiker voice below. I'll drop that in. Oh, and Kane Hodder is playing Leatherface. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any footage yet. I don't think they've released any footage yet. They've done some character models I've seen on Twitter. I'm intrigued, but again, I would love to play a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that has a single player mode. I really like the look of the Evil Dead, but I don't have that sort of gaming community where we will jump in and play that kind of game. I'd much prefer a good narrative. Which is, Fran I can, playing through the Supermassive games before The Quarry comes out, nearly finished Until Dawn. Until Dawn is excellent. That's probably the best, in my opinion, out of those. I really enjoyed the recent one with Pazuzu, can't remember what it was called. And Man of Medan was decent. Little Hope is the only one I haven't finished yet. It's good, but it doesn't seem to have quite as much direction, whereas, again, the one with Pazuzu and Ashley Tisdale in it, I can't remember what it's called. That was pretty good. I did enjoy that. And Man of Medan's fine. Yeah, single player only for me with a good story. I'd love to play a decent single player Evil Dead game. 100% the Gruff. I imagine it takes a lot to make a video game. I'm not going to say it's easy at all. I mean, I know nothing about it. I can't make computer stuff. But I would just think, take some of the focus out of making these multiplayer games. And House of Ashes, yeah, thanks, Fran. And make a single player story. Like, what happened to the days of single player games having a multiplayer mode? I don't want to be old man shouting at the clouds, but it's seeming more and more that you have a multiplayer game and then a single player game as separate games that both will probably cost 50 to 65 quid. Just make a good single player game that maybe has a really cool multiplayer function. I'd rather spend a full price on that than maybe get a multiplayer game that's 30 quid. Like, 30 quid still 30 quid, But yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool that he's voicing it. I don't know too much about what Ed Neal's done outside of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but yeah, I'm with you on that, Gruff. Just an old man shouting at the clouds.